On an ordinary afternoon, in February 2017, two teenage girls set out for a walk in the woods of Delphi, Indiana. What happened next would captivate the nation and ultimately lead to justice 7 years later. I am going to tell you the story of Abby Williams and Libby German, and how their courage in their final moments helped bring a killer to justice. Abby Williams was 13 years old. Libby German was 14. They were friends on a hiking trail called Monon High Bridge, the kind of place where teenagers might spend an afternoon looking for adventure. But adventure wasn't what found them that day. Instead, tragedy descended with a violence that shook a community to its core. Libby's phone had a secret that would become crucial to solving this case. As the girls walked that trail, as danger approached, Libby activated her phone's camera and video. What she captured was extraordinary. She recorded her killer, not his face, not his full form, but his voice, his footsteps, his presence. She recorded the man who would end her life, and the life of her friend. For 5 years, that recording remained a mystery. Police had the voice. They had the image. They had the audio file that became known as the Down the Hill recording. Down the Hill. Those 2 words, spoken by a killer, became the most famous audio clip in true crime history. But they had no name. They had no face. They had a voice in the darkness, a phantom, a ghost. Then, in October 2022, everything changed. The police arrested Richard Allen. He lived in the same town. He worked at a nearby CVS pharmacy. He was someone nobody suspected. For 5 years, he had walked free while 2 girls lay in graves, while a community ached, while investigators slowly, methodically put the pieces together. But Richard Allen confessed. Not once, not twice, not 5 times. Over 60 times. 60 times he confessed to his wife. 60 times he confessed to his mother. 60 times he confessed to psychologists and fellow inmates. 60 times the man who killed Abby Williams and Libby German admitted what he had done, and yet he pleaded not guilty. The trial lasted weeks. Prosecutors presented DNA evidence from a knife sheath found at the crime scene. They presented cell phone data. They presented witness testimony. They presented the recording. The jury deliberated for 19 hours across 17 days of testimony. The weight of that evidence, that voice, that recording of the final moments of 2 young girls, pressed down on the jury with immense force. On October 30th, 2024, the verdict came back. Guilty on all counts. Richard Allen was sentenced to 130 years in prison. 130 years. A sentence that meant he would never see freedom again. Never breathe air as a free man. Never walk anywhere but in prison corridors. But here is what matters most about this case. 2 young girls, in the final moments of their lives, had the presence of mind to reach for a phone, to record, to leave evidence, to fight back against the darkness even as it consumed them. Abby Williams and Libby German could not have known how important their actions would become. They could not have known they were creating the evidence that would catch their killer. They simply knew something was wrong, and they tried to document it. That recording, that voice crying out from the past, ultimately spoke louder than 7 years of silence. It spoke louder than the killer's denials. It spoke louder than 60 confessions that meant nothing because he still claimed innocence. Justice has been served. Richard Allen will die in prison. 2 families can now grieve without the question of justice hanging over them. And 2 teenage girls, Abby and Libby, are remembered not as victims, but as the brave young women who refused to be silenced, even in death. Their voices, through that recording, changed everything.